All right, today we are gabbing with the Brooke Ashley. You know her, you love her. She's been on before. She has an incredible YouTube channel where she recaps and reacts to everything. A fantastic online presence, adds a lot to the Bravo verse. Brooke, thanks for being here. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm well, Gibson. First off, thank you for having me. We saw each other at the Traders premiere party last week.
Yes.
Always good seeing you. We have the best time talking, so I'm happy to be here. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Yeah, we were at the Traders premiere watch party. Candace was there, Natalie was there, a couple people from old seasons were there. And it's funny because we had this like big debate about Potomac and it's like past seasons mostly. And Candace was there and like I knew that she was a traitor because I'd watched it already. And then to watch your reaction to her, it was just like because I actually don't think that Candace had seen the episode yet. So I think that she was
Oh,
that was her reacting as well to like watching all of us in the room react to it. It was a good atmosphere.
it was. Such a good night. Like the
Uh-huh.
vibes were great. Candace looks so happy, just
hmm
like she just looks so free and just joyful. And I think that Traders is the perfect show for her.
I completely agree. I think there's something to be said about when somebody like Rinna or Candace leaves Housewives in different situations, and they come back to reality TV not on Housewives. This is like Housewives adjacent, right? And so like it's a new environment for them, but they still have their. It shows us like they still have their personalities that we kind of like fell in love with and like know are very dynamic for TV, and they can work in other environments. It's like it's almost like affirming and reassuring, you know?
Very much so. Very much so. And I think that the housewives make for such good TV. So to see them in a different environment, I think that like the personalities are just perfection. And I think my prediction is I think that Candace is going to win or she gets very close to winning.
I hope so. I'll be honest. Like the first couple episodes, I like the conga line made me nervous because that was such a big swing. I think she got lucky that they didn't realize it was an in plain sight murder. So now it just seems like she was a fun girl in the castle. And obviously the thing with Portia like brought a lot of attention to her. But I feel like if she can like the next couple episodes or kind of nights, I guess in their case, just like pick like be a little more under the radar, then I think that she'll avoid this attention she has right now and like she'll be
Agreed.
good for a while. Because her
Yep.
her and Rinna should be a good duo. They there's no reason for them to go against each other. I don't know.
I think they're gonna be fine because like when they greeted each other when they were like, oh my gosh, hey, like we're traitors. Like I think the vibes are good. So
Yeah, they're on the same page. Rob is on a different page, and I like
yeah,
Rob, but that
same.
could be a thing.
Yeah.
So my eyes on that. So we're talking the morning after Portia was on Watch What Happens Live, and earlier in that day, Andy had said on his radio show, "I'm announcing the cast of the Ultimate Girls Trip Road Trip show that's starting to film soon. I'm announcing that on Watch What Happens Live with Portia and Vanita there." But his co-host John Arthur Hill, shout out for asking the question. He was like, but I saw a rumor that NeNe's going to be on this show. I'm going to be back. And Andy confirmed it. And she's going to be in like, she's not going to be a main cast member. So she's going to be, when they go to Atlanta, I'm assuming she'll be like a big presence in that episode. It's happening, Brooke. It's happening. Like, where are you right now 24 hours later?
I'm still in shock because I just never thought that that day would happen, right? Never thought that we would see the day. That's a huge deal that she's coming back
Huge.
despite what she said about him. Um, I'm hoping that we get the feel good NeNe because I do think that we forget that her last three seasons on the show, she wasn't in the right mind space, right? She wasn't in a good mood. Greg was dealing with his cancer battle. She was irritated. She didn't seem like she wanted to be there, right? Understandably so. I do hope that she's just in a good frame of mind. I hope that she's just excited, you know. I don't want that. I don't want the whole like, I'm the one, I'm the reason for all of this. I just want her to come in, clean slate, fun, good vibes,
hmm
and leave all of the, I don't want to diva behavior, but just give us a good vibe. But that's what we want. We don't want all that extra stuff, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's like it's so exciting. The prospect is so like you can't even let yourself get too far ahead because it's like, okay, she's like not even a primary cast on the show, but her being back on Bravo, like, what could that lead to? Also, you're right. It's like, what version of NeNe do we get here? And even in the video that she posted on Instagram, it's like she seemed to be like emotional in a good way about it,
Mhm.
but it does feel like a different person than NeNe was in like that sort of original amazing run that we all fell in love with her over. And so it's hard to land in a certain like even place with it. It really is.
It is because on one hand, I'm excited. On the other hand, I'm like, okay, so is she going to come back full time to Atlanta? There's so much to process. There's so
Yes.
much to
Yeah,
process.
and it makes sense that we're still processing because that there were a lot of years of a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And it's but I think I'm just with you. I think and I think that her shouting out Portia and Phaedra in terms of keeping her name in the mix behind the scenes, to me that's promising in terms of her leaning more into like the sisterhood, supportive, like we built this all together kind of vibe versus her building it from the ground up, which we all know that NeNe like played, a much bigger part in making it happen. We all know that. So it's like she has nothing to prove. That's it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, that's the best way to put it. It's like there's nothing to prove, like you said. There's no need to even have that attitude of like, this is the house that I built because we know that. Like, you
Yeah,
don't need to say what we already know. Like, you don't need to state the obvious. So I just
a
want her to come
hundred
in
percent.
like just fresh and ready to work, ready to go, ready to
And
have some fun.
funny. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, good
yes.
vibes. So the other people on the show are Vicky, Luann, Portia, Teresa, Kyle, Giselle, and Lisa Barlow. So it's essentially one person from every active franchise, or I guess Jersey and New York aren't really active, but you know what I mean. The only one we don't have somebody from is Miami. That is kind of like the big and obviously, they've said, by the way, that over 60 other housewives are going to appear on the show when they go to the different cities. They'll have probably like get togethers and stuff like that. But there's no Miami principal cast member. How do you feel about the principal cast here that's clearly going to be on the bus or the RV or whatever it is?
I think that this is a really good
Me too.
cast, and I think it's so funny though that I forget that Portia's not an OG. Like she's a vet, but like she's been on for so long. But like it's so funny because
Hmm.
it's everybody on the show is an OG. Lisa, season
Yeah.
one, Giselle, season one, Countess
Kyle,
Luann, Teresa, Kyle, like
Vicky.
they're all yeah,
Yeah,
Vicky, all season one except for Portia. But it's like we've known her for so long, she pretty much is like an OG kind of. But I think that this should be a good cast. This
I
should be a good.
agree. I agree. And I don't think of Ultimate Girls Trip. Obviously, a couple of the seasons did have drama, but I don't think of it, and especially this 20th anniversary season, I don't think they're looking for it to be like the most explosive, dramatic series.
Yeah,
I really kind of envision it to be like more fun hijinks, like trip down memory lane kind of vibe that they're going to go for, which I'm okay with. Like, it just feels like I've seen people complaining about this cast, like, why is Kyle on it? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, first of all, you may be bored of Kyle on Beverly Hills, but Kyle's also has the record for the longest consecutive streak of Housewives seasons, and she's still going. And so, like, of course,
yeah,
she's going to be on the 20th anniversary season of, like, I'm just trying to take a step back and be like, Ultimate Girls Trip is back, which I thought might never ever happen. It's quite the treat to have all of these vets and OGs on screen together. And if it results in fun versus drama, I'm okay with that, you
same.
know?
Yeah, same. I think that this should be fun to see Lisa Barlow, especially in an RV for like
Oh my God.
that's gonna be
She skips the
hilarious.
RV trip at
Ex-
Brooke.
Exactly, exactly. So, we're gonna be getting her in an RV. Countess Luann, her and Sonia had that spinoff where they had to sleep in a motel for
Crappy
like
Lake.
6 weeks, Crappy Lake. So I think that it should be a good mix. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll
Me
be
too.
fun.
I'm excited. I'm really
I am
excited.
too.
And I think the Miami thing is just kind of like a big question mark, but who knows? Like the theory is that they're filming soon, but also Vicky's filming OC soon. So I don't really understand that, but It is what it is. Let's jump over to Salt Lake City. We got the part one of the reunion this week. Um, I guess my like overall 2 cents is that I feel like Salt Lake City reunions tend to not stack up to the seasons that they are for me because the seasons are always so strong, and so it's like a lot to live up to and a lot to unpack, and it's just hard to like back that up usually. And I know that we didn't have like a big reveal on this part one, but I kind of like really enjoyed myself watching it. Like, and I don't. So that's sort of where I landed. I was like, yeah, like nothing really happened, I guess, but like I was kind of laughing a lot because it's just like so ridiculous. How did you feel about part one?
So when I watched it the night of, I thought it was like, okay, this could have been an email, right? Then when I
Yes.
watched it the next day on Peacock, the extended version, then I was like, oh, okay, like this actually wasn't too bad. I think that this season of SLC kind of fell flat to me. I feel like they started off with so much promise,
Hmm.
and then it just kind of petered out with the whole flight mess
Hmm.
with Meredith, and we haven't seen the footage. Um, we're it was clear that Heather came in with trying to ice out Meredith and Lisa, right? And the plan has backfired greatly. I just feel like I'm not so excited about this reunion. I don't feel like we need three parts because
Hmm.
we didn't have 3 parts worth of drama. But I do feel like the first part, rewatching it the next day, I was like, oh, okay, not too bad.
It was more like funny versus more than anything. But I agree. It's like the second half of the season after like the below deck trip was so good. I thought like I very much enjoyed most of those episodes, and then it just became a cycle of talk about the plane, confront Meredith over the plane. Meredith denies and won't is not going to say what you want her to say. Rinse and repeat the next episode, and that happened like 4 times. Like it was like it felt like a full month of just like trying to get Meredith to talk about the plane and also not and refusing to meet up with her one on one and just like I agree it petered out and so especially because we know they don't have footage of the plane because Matt Rogers said on Las Culturistas that he texted Andy asking and Andy was like no if we had it we would have shown it so yeah I agree like the second half totally petered out for me but I think what I liked about this first half of this first part of the reunion especially the first half was the energy that Lisa Barlow brought because we know that she can get really flustered when she's arguing and she can kind of like spiral. But
Yes.
before we got to a certain topic at the end of the part, she was just like sitting there, like pretty even keel, pretty like she had this like really steady energy. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, when she, like, what she say? She said, my response when you're ready to listen, like things like that, that just kind of were rolling off her tongue. I was eating it up personally. And I just liked that she wasn't getting flustered. She wasn't letting them get to her at that point.
Yes, I think that this was definitely Lisa's best performance. I think that she was the clear winner of this first part. I think that she was flawless. She applied the notes because any other time they've always complained that she's too reactive. She
Hmm.
doesn't let them speak. And this time she sat with that and she said, you know what? I'm going to prove them wrong because when they spoke, she didn't say anything. She let
Hmm.
them speak. And then they were the ones interrupting her because she said, well, may I speak? I let you speak. Now it's my turn to speak. And you can tell that Heather and Bronwyn and Whitney were all disappointed in the fact that whatever they assumed that she was going to be it was going to be business as usual. And when she turned the tides on them and said, "No, I'm going to sit here quietly because you guys always complain," they were really Heather was really taken aback by that
I
because
think
that's
so
not
too.
the yeah she was like shook like wait what like I loved it.
What do you make of the tag teaming narrative that gets put on Lisa and Meredith? Because there's obviously I think it's a gray area between like are you friends or are you tag teaming and they're being accused of tag teaming. They say it's just like how friends do. They defend each other. Um, what do you think of that and like why are they so intent on that label when like it can probably be applied to them as well?
Yeah, I think it's BS. I think that they are just obsessed with Lisa and Meredith. I'm a staunch believer that Heather and Whitney have an obsession with them, especially with Lisa. and they just want to find fault in whatever she does because it's the same thing with Heather and Whitney. They pick on people, they gang up on people all the time. So this doesn't land about Lisa and Meredith tag teaming because they're the ones who tag team.
What's the obsession, do you think? Like, what's behind them being so obsessed with Lisa and Meredith?
How much time do you have? I'm going to make this
Ah!
short. No, no, I'm serious. No, I talk about it on my channel
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. I do believe that Lisa's confidence, she's very self-assured. She likes who she is, good, bad, indifferent. She owns who she is. And I think that she goes by that motto of you can't shame somebody who's unashamed. And
Mm,
I think that Heather and Whitney both have low self-esteem, and being around a confident person rattles them. And I think that Heather is upset with the fact that Lisa is able to do Mormonism her way and still be accepted by the community. That
mm.
bothers her because she was a perfect Mormon girl who's ostracized. Lisa drinks, versus has a good time, goes to the club, and she's still accepted. And it's kind of like, wait, how come she's able to do that and I followed the rules and I'm on the outskirts? I think that it's a lot of stuff. I think that Heather needs to get some help. She needs to go and see somebody, see the lady, please, because it's like, girl, your obsession with Lisa needs to be in it. You need help, girl. Like, what's going on?
And even the whole thing about, I mean, one of my favorite exchanges of the whole reunion so far has been them trying to say that Lisa is from Salt Lake City. And she says, no, I'm New York through and through. I'm New York through and through. It's, first of all, it's true. She was born in New York City and
Yes,
she went to high school upstate. Like, she is from New York.
yes.
She went to college in Salt Lake City, and I think maybe her family might have moved there at some point, whatever. But she's from New York. Like, she's not lying. So
Mhm.
they're so intent, I think, on like also uh like showing that they're on the same level as her in certain ways, and she doesn't live a different life than the rest of them, you know. And does she not? I guess that's up for debate, but I'm with you, and I really liked, again, I really liked Lisa's, like, the way she was comporting herself. The one thing that I think she did herself no favors on, though, was at the end. I think when they were talking about her business,
Mhm.
though she doesn't owe them any explanation of her business, I think she did get reactive and she did get activated to a point where I think it almost raises more questions in a lot of in skeptics' minds about what she does and what her business is. Because she could have just, again, kept the calm demeanor and just been like, well, Lux Marketing is this, this, and this. Thank you. But instead she gave them the reaction there that they wanted to get out of her. It took them a lot of tries, but at the end of
Yes.
part one, they got it out of her,
They
you know?
did. They did. But I think that I would flip it back on them and
Yeah.
say, how dare you question me when you didn't question Jen Shah? And there's a clip floating around. There's a clip floating around where when she just got arrested and Heather's on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy's like, do you care do you care that your friend could possibly go into jail? And Heather's like, no, like she's my friend. I'm going to stick beside her. And she says, I knew that her business was scammy in the first place, but I didn't care. She's my friend. And I'm just like, okay, so you knew that your girl was scamming from jump. You knew that it wasn't legit. So how dare you question anybody on the legitimacy of their business? And I wish that Lisa would have hit her with, girl, how dare you question me when you were over there palling around with the scammer that you knew was scamming?
I would have loved to see that. Again, it just sort of like,
Yeah.
I wish that Lisa had reacted slightly differently. But you know what? Again, they were badgering. They were pushing on different topics, and this is the
Yes.
one that got her. And we
Yes.
know, like, we've known these women for 6 years. We know that Lisa and her business is a very sensitive talk. She's very defensive of it. And I think we saw in the finale when she had that tearful moment about like why she likes her material things. They're a sign of accomplishment and they're a sign of proving herself. We sort of know why she's so defensive of her business. And I personally don't think it's like a shady thing. I think it's more, in line with what she was talking about in that finale, you know?
Yeah. Agreed.
Um, what did you make of, I guess we got ahead of ourselves. We kicked off with like, it's usually just like a check-in, Andy, and each individual woman. But with Meredith, she's like, well, I need to start on something that Whitney said to her from BravoCon when she was very drunk, where she
Yes.
was like, I want to be friends with you. And Whitney says that Meredith twisted their conversation, and because Meredith, I guess, I don't know where Meredith said that, but she said that Whitney had retracted everything that she said with having with Brittany. So she's mad at Meredith for twisting the words. But to me, I don't even really care about that.
I don't either.
I care more about this is all happening when Whitney is like admittedly blackout drunk at BravoCon. And like we're spending the whole second half of the season talking about accusing Meredith of being a pill popper and having a substance abuse problem. Right? I mean,
The
it's
jokes write
interesting.
themselves.
Hmm.
And I remember I was there for that taping. It was for the holiday special.
Hmm.
And she was drunk. She was sitting, she got up, they had to stop filming. She got up, she sits on Lisa's lap, she's sitting on Heather's lap. She walks over to where Meredith was because she was on the DJ set. And Meredith was even like, "What girl, what are you doing?" Andy was like, "Girl, sit down." I mean, she was good and drunk. I mean, wasted. So I just think it's so funny that for her, of all people, to be sitting up here accusing someone of having a problem when you're drunk. I mean, BravoCon is a work event
Very
for
much
y'all.
so. Yeah.
So, I mean, come on. You didn't
Yeah.
have the good sense to just like, let me wait until this last taping, then get as drunk as you want to get. But to get drunk in the middle of taping and they have to keep stopping, and Andy's already annoyed because, he has dinner plans. He has, like, he doesn't want to be here taping all night.
And that was the very end of the weekend too. It was extending yeah, it was like everyone was lost their voice already. The stuff with Bronwyn's case, again, for me, I'm pretty tired of lawsuits from 8 years ago being brought up that kind of don't really have to do with anything.
Mhm.
Like we don't even really know what Bronwyn's lawsuit was. She said she can't talk about it because somebody else wanted it sealed. I don't know how true that is, but
I
like
don't think it's true.
ultimately, I don't really care that much. It's more about like how she's handling it and then kind of how you talk about other people's stuff. That's sort of how I like to think about it. Where have you landed on? I think the discussion about the case is probably done. So where did you sort of net out with that whole thing?
I One, I love the viewer questions.
So
And
good.
that one viewer question when they said, "It's clear that you don't want to talk about the case because you can talk about a sealed case." And they said, "We know that you're pretty liberal with the truth." I said, "Oh, what a classy way to call her a liar." I got my entire life.
A wordsmith.
Yes, yes, a wordsmith, if you will. But I think that Bronwyn lies so much that I just don't know what to believe. And then even when Andy asked her, "Well, can you tell us what the nature of the crime was? Can you tell us that?" And she's like, "Well, so here's the thing. It happened at my workplace at the time, but I just got my U.S. citizenship, and they're not just giving those out to people with felonies." I'm like, "Girl, answer the question. What was the nature of the crime? Was it a fraud? Like, what was it? Just tell us that."
Yeah, totally. Like, is it? Yeah, there's it just creates more questions as well, and just again, I really feels irrelevant what she actually did when again 8 years ago or whatever it was, but um, then she brings up the OK Magazine article that came out that said that she was going to be late to the boat because of the all that stuff. Um, and again, it's this thing where, and this happened to Lisa when the actual stuff about her Bronwyn's case came out, where the presumption is that the only people that could possibly leak this kind of stuff are the 7 women on the cast, the 8 women on the cast. And it's like, as somebody pointed out, I forgot who said it on the reunion, but it's like, there are a lot of people on that boat. There are a lot of people that are on production of these shows. Like, there's all their family members. Like, there's a lot of people who could leak anything about any of
Yes.
them. And then they always come back to, well, I was arguing with Lisa, so it has to be her. Or that just frustrates the hell out of me. It's like that to me is a point where I wish they could really break the fourth wall and be like, listen, like there's more than just 8 of us here, you know?
And I believe that Heather's behind it because let's not forget that Heather doesn't like Bronwyn
She
either.
doesn't. She
She's
doesn't.
just using her as a pawn because she wants to get back at Lisa. But like,
Hmm.
it's just a little alliance for the time being. But it's like, yeah, and also Lisa is such an easy target that it's like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm pinning it on Lisa and they'll all believe that it's Lisa.
And I loved that Lisa revealed at the beginning, and you could tell that Brahma was very surprised to hear this. that she said that Heather is the one that told Angie to bring up the fart that the Todd farting while making out story because she thought
Yes.
it would be funny. So she played Angie to she like she was playing her like a fiddle.
Yes.
Um, and you could just tell on Bronwyn's face like I did not know that, and it's gonna have her second guess maybe her relationship with Heather potentially.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. You could tell that Bronwyn was hurt hearing that.
Hmm.
It was a setup to embarrass her.
I think Bronwyn's in kind of a tough spot. I feel like you know, like who is Bronwyn's closest friend on the cast right now? Because she was getting close to Whitney, I thought, in a very genuine way on the season, but then she crossed her by repeating the thing to Meredith. I don't think her and Heather will ever fully trust each other, at least right now. Angie and her, I'm not really sure what their specific friendship is.
Maybe it's Mary.
Maybe.
Her and Mary, I feel like seem to be the closest. I guess. Like she likes Mary a lot.
I was interested in Mary because Mary has been the voice of reason for so much of this season. But Mary got asked about Lisa being a high risk friend. And she just said, yeah, she is. She's delusional. And she didn't really like, unless I'm forgetting, she didn't give like a solid example of it.
She didn't.
Um, and I think Mary, as she relates to Meredith, sort of makes me think about Mary's position in the group too, because I think that Mary has genuine concern for Meredith. Like, I don't think I think she does care about her. But I don't know if she was the best friend to Meredith all season. And I think that she kind of is, she's straddling between two different sides. And I think that she actually is more on one side than maybe she wants people to think. Or I don't know. I think it's a lot more sly, I think, than people maybe realize. But and I haven't landed in a certain place with it, but it's interesting.
Well, I think about when she told Meredith when they were in Canawan and they were on the beach, and she was like, Meredith, you're boring anyway. Go over there. And it's like, who says it to their friend? And
Hmm.
like, Mary lashes out. Mary's very moody. I can't stand a moody person. The 1 minute you're no, I that's a that
Yeah.
if you're moody, get away from me.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. 1 minute you're fine. If the wind blows a different way, now you're in a pissed off mood. You lash out. I don't like that energy. Get away
Mm.
from that. And Mary's very moody. You never know where you stand with her. 1 minute she loves you, the next minute she can't stand you. It's like, is everything okay? And I feel like they walk on eggshells with her, and I feel like they handle her with kid gloves, if I'm being honest. Because
They do.
if she were on another city, she wouldn't last a day with her antics. And I wish
Well,
they would give it back. I wish they would give it back to her more because they all just let her say what she wants to say, and they all just sit there.
I wonder if I wonder if that's kind of on the verge of happening potentially. Like she has so much goodwill, I think, with the fan base and I think with some of the cast too. But at a certain point, stuff like that turns. Like, I think it's like a human instinct, honestly. It's like when people are built up so much, people want to tear that person down. I think Mary's being built up has been built up a lot over the past 2.5 years. And like since she came back to the show. And I think um, yeah, I think you're right. And like even thinking about her and Angie rebuilding after, like Angie had to be so careful. They were talking about farts,
That
and
was
and but
silly.
but Angie knew how to do it, but it's a different way of navigating a friendship than anybody else. It's difficult. It can't be easy.
No, it's like you're walking on your and like tiptoes around her, tiptoeing around her.
Uh-huh.
No one's doing that with you.
Yeah.
You know?
We end with Angie's mini scroll, which she apparently is proving that an account that had been trolling her is linked to Lisa's phone number. We have not seen the actual evidence yet. Are we over props?
I'm over Angie's props. I think that Angie is like she knows how to like ruin a good thing.
Beat a dead horse.
Beat a dead horse. It's like, okay, I just feel like Angie is one of the most desperate housewives. Like she gets a good thing going and then she has to just drag it out. She still has that thirst and that hunger from season 3 when she was trying to be full time. Like it's never left her. I need her to and just be easy, that it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that for once she got her snowflake and then she got center snowflake, I think that desperation was seen as endearing and seen as like almost admirable because she wasn't trying to hide it, you know? But it's like at this point, this is her second straight season with center snowflake. Like she has solidified herself. She is part of this cast. She is accepted. So like take a deep like exhale, you know? I agree with you. It's like I think that I really like Angie, but I think that she would benefit from exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And she didn't
Yeah.
bring a whole lot this season. She didn't bring, I'm like, Angie, you could honestly, thank you for your services. It was fun. Like, if they demoted her or, to back to friend of, I wouldn't be upset.
Mm,
I wouldn't be upset because, like, I mean, what was the storyline? What
Greece.
was it? Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know?
The one thing I say, and I've said this before on my podcast, but I don't think I've said it to you. I do think that, as we saw in the finale, like Angie and Lisa have genuine, actual love for each other, and I do think there is like a connection there, but they fight so down and dirty. I feel like, and feel free to disagree with me, but like I feel like if they could both draw back a little bit in how they fight with one another, it could just be like kind of purely funny and not that serious. Like if they could each take it less seriously with each other specifically, it could be like way more frenemy vibes, which I love a frenemy vibe where it's like a Karen and Giselle, a Kim and NeNe, where it's like it's not that deep and they can go back and forth, but then they can also genuinely just have fun the next episode. But they just go so low with each other right now, and I wish they could both not do that.
But then again, when you think about it, though, Giselle and Karen have gone low. The
You're
Hot
right.
Ones,
You're
Whore
right.
from Hampton. You went to Sing Sing.
I guess it's just not as fun when Angie and Lisa like I don't love
Yeah,
when they are both like when they're
yeah,
both screaming at each other over each other. It's not I don't like how they fight.
yeah. I
You
don't even.
know?
No, yeah, I think that their fights are just annoying because it's just like you said, screeching. But like something about Giselle and Karen, it's hilarious. Like you said, NeNe and Kim, hilarious. But like, yeah, something about them too. I think maybe it's like Angie's desperation for a moment. I think
Hmm.
overtakes everything. Like I don't know. Maybe it's
She's
that.
always standing up at the table
Yeah.
and like right,
Yes.
right.
Yes. And that drives me crazy. Sit
Yeah,
down.
me
If
too.
we're both
Yeah.
sitting down, sit down. You
Yeah.
don't need to stand over me and do all like now you've lost me. It's time for you to go. God bless you. There's the door.
You're amazing. All right, so I feel like that's most of the part one of Salt Lake. It honestly lasted longer than I expected it to. Let's go to Potomac. We are deep in the Colorado trip. We are without running water. We're driving an hour and a half between houses. It's another Potomac moment that is sparking a lot of conversation, though, because I think it's this trip is happening when it comes to the viewers kind of arc with Angel. It's coming sort of as they are starting to generally sort of feel a little bad for her. She's showing a couple like moments of potential in terms of like being able to give it back to the women. But then she has this trip that's like, on the one hand, it is a shit show, and on the other, how much of it is actually because of her own doing versus just like the realities of production. And the women are all giving her a very hard time about it. It's hard to. There's a lot of things existing in my brain about it. Um, how are you feeling?
I like Angel. I think that she's just she came into the show with good intentions, I feel. I think that she deserves another season just to just see, just give her a second shot, right? But the trip, I'm like, my God, of all times for everything to
Yeah,
go wrong, for the water to shut off, and it's not her fault. It's not her fault. And it just sucks so bad because they are chomping at the bit to give her a hard time. And it's like she just can't win with the ladies. Whatever
yeah.
she does, it's a problem. And I think when that's the case, you can't win for losing.
Mm. Yeah, it's everything. Everything is an issue on this trip. And like I'm enjoying watching it. I think it's funny, but it's like like I understand complaining about the hot water. I understand complaining about the house, even though I think that like they're clearly in very remote Colorado and they're clearly are only so many options in her
Yes.
area to house 8 women, but also like so that to me is all like pretty valid, honestly, even if they're kind of maybe they should be yelling at production and not Angel. But like complaining about being out in the field having dinner, like that's like we're out in Colorado. It's like a nature vibes trip. I'm not sure what the issue is there. I know it was cold. Like it's not Angel's fault that the people at her party weren't really engaging with the women. Like those things are totally not her fault, you know? Um, and also just not a big deal. But also I know the feeling of being in a situation where it feels like overall you're already fucking annoyed and you're like, holy shit, I stink because I couldn't even take a shower to come to this party. So then little things are going to add up. So it's like I don't know. It's like a shit show all around.
I know, and I feel like, is somebody setting her up? Did somebody in production turn the water
Mm,
off to give her a hard time? Because production, they'll go to the bottom of the barrel to make somebody look bad.
mm.
So I don't know. I feel bad for her, but I'm like, y'all want to complain, but I saw everybody chomping down on that delicious food. That was one of the best spreads that we've seen on Potomac in the 10 years that it's been on air.
It's not
Because
Family
we're
Fun
used to
Day, is it?
seeing, you know, we've
Catfish in a
seen
tin.
catfish in a tin, half-eaten Popeyes, beans and franks in a tinfoil pan at Karen's pickleball event. So, or a half a piece of cheese with a Ritz cracker and maybe a piece of a grape. So, so I'm just like, you know what? Don't do it because the way you guys were chomping down on that food, that salmon looked amazing, the mac and cheese, the cornbread, everything. Stop it. Like, stop. All things considered, she's a great hostess. She had the oxygen bar, an open bar, not two bottles of barefoot and Sutter home. She had the good stuff, top shelf. So stop. She had the Hermes plates and the utensils. Stop. Don't like stop. Like enough.
I'm sorry, I'm still on a piece of a grape. That was a beautiful monologue. Thank you for that, truly. Um, yeah, it's also so the episode kicked off with this like end of a cliffhanger from before, and I'm like, Wendy, I know you're having a great season, but are we really supposed to believe this realtor friend that Angel wanted to pay $1,000 in rent and to make it look like $14,000 a month? Like that, be serious. Like as Tia said, like $1,000 gets you nothing in any major city. It gets like not much less a 6 bedroom home for like what are we talking like what? That was childish. That was
Very
childish.
childish. It wasn't believable. And then on top of that, the numbers changed. 2 episodes ago, when you had the girls' night out with Ashley and Giselle, and you were gossiping, you said, "Oh yeah, she wanted a $50,000 a month
Mm,
place and only wanted to pay 2 to 3 thousand. Now it's 14,000, and you only want to pay 1,000. Which one is it?"
mm.
And it's just such a stupid lie. And then
Yeah.
it's like, I wish that you never even open your mouth about anybody else's money because look what's going on present day. It's just embarrassing on all fronts.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And the other thing that I think is interesting about all of the like complaining about Angel and all this stuff, it's kind of it's not bringing them together, but like it's funny that Giselle and Stacy are kind of two of the most vocal about this, like despite where it almost is bringing them together in a way temporarily. And I think it's kind of interesting to see that happen, like because they haven't been on the same page for much recently, but they are like able to coexist to complain about this trip and kind of commiserate together, trauma bond maybe, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's just an unlikely little like element of this, I guess. I don't think it will lead to anything, but
No. No, it's not. Just for these next 4 days in Colorado, they can all just have a good time and bitch and moan about the trip.
so I know you have feelings about this. Monique on the way to the welcome mixer, an hour and a half car ride. We hear about, she's breaking the fourth wall about the cast trips. I actually like that part. I like that we finally acknowledge that production plans and organizes a lot of
Yes.
this stuff. I liked that. But so she's expressing a little bit of sympathy for Angel. But then she's also saying, you know, I see how Angel and her husband interact. I see how much Angel takes on. I used to be in Angel's shoes. Like we were in a similar position. I feel bad for her. She's basically like likening, Bobby and Angel to her and Chris. And I know that you have opinions, so I want you to share your opinion on that perspective that she's or that kind of claim that she's making.
So I'm gonna just say it straight like this. Monique was wrong for that. She needs to be quiet. Her marriage to Chris is nothing like what we're seeing with Bobby and Angel, okay? I have thoughts about Chris and Monique, but I'll just leave that for another
Okay.
day. But I think that it's very presumptuous. It's just rude. You don't even know Angel. You don't know, you haven't been around them as a couple. How dare you say that about them? And then it also felt like, wow, how quickly people have forgotten because let's remember how you used to really crash out and get really upset when Giselle and other people would comment on you and Chris's marriage. So you should have that same empathy and sympathy and compassion, knowing that you did not like what folks spoke on your marriage at the time. So why would you even put those seeds of confusion in the air when you've been on the receiving end of that? And it
Hmm.
just feels like at every single turn, you have people who have been tortured by, they've just really been blasted by Giselle for years. Now they're finally on her good side and they want to kiss up to her. Because you're telling me that you've forgotten about all the years where you were mad when Giselle would talk about your marriage. So why do that to somebody else? And it's normal for I feel like spouses say, "Oh, I need to talk to my spouse about something." Why is that a cause for concern? "Oh, I'm just nervous because but she said I had to ask Bobby." It's like, "Why are we turning this into something?" Like I didn't like that. And Monique was wrong for that. And Monique with this fake healing journey, I'm just so tired of hearing about it. The same healing journey that Whitney's been on for the last 6 seasons on SLC. I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear it anymore.
And I totally hear you. I totally hear you. I think that there is projection that happens. I do think that, but I personally think that there is some genuine, not concern. That's the wrong word. I feel like she does see some of herself in her, and I think that's a valid point about she did not like when people talked about her marriage back in the day. So why do it now? I think that if you were to believe her, which I sort of do, that she's coming at it from a place of concern and wanting to like help Angel essentially, but she's doing it behind her back, so it's not helpful right now. Um, like I wasn't as like put off about it as you were by it. I do think that like she's doing a lot of talking about it to the other people and not to Angel. And there's not that much concrete to go off of. And I think the Angel checking with Bobby comment, absolutely, like that's what parents do. I think one of the things that Angel could be doing better here is like you do know the women are feeling some type of way. You do know they are staying an hour and a half away. You do know that it's like a kind of it's a charged high temperature right now in the room. Just say yes to the sleepover and then figure it out with Bobby afterwards. Like she didn't do herself any favors by being like, let me ask Bobby. I think that she should have just been like, yep, we'll figure it out. Let's do the sleepover. Because I think Monique is right in that like these are cast trips where you clear your schedule. And I know you're hosting it. I know your kids are there. Bobby can take on the kids for 3 days. I'm sure they have a nanny around. Like that to me, like you're not I have sympathy because she just gave birth, but it's like this is also like the commitment that we're all making by being here, and you're like kind of selectively being with us. I don't know. Like I would be pissed off, I think, if I were them personally.
I think I'll just add this one caveat. I think
Yes.
my one issue with Angel is the fact that she doesn't say it with her chest.
No.
I want her to get better with saying how she feels in the moment.
Me too.
Let's be so honest. She's only saying, I want to check in with Bobby because she doesn't want to go. She
Yeah.
doesn't like the women have not been treating her right. It's been a lot of contention. She's rather be with her husband and her kids. I'd pick them
Me
over
too. But this is your job, and you're hosting the trip,
Yes.
so.
I'd rather her say, y'all don't care for me. You've been
Mhm.
picking at me. I don't really want to be with you. I don't want to spend the night with y'all. I'd have more respect if she would do that versus,
Mhm.
I think that they would also have more respect too if she would just say it straight.
Yeah, 100%. I think that we even talked about this the other week, where it was like ultimately Giselle and Ashley want you to give it back to them. I think
Yes.
like
Yes.
even though like I think it's crazy that like they don't know why they pretended to not know why Angel wanted to give them the twin bedrooms. Usually, I think like most of the time they like want to see that fire. They want to
Yes,
see they like the verbal sparring. They
they
like
do.
that's what they've been doing for 10 years. I think so. I think you're and as I mentioned at the top, like Angel has done that a couple like she's shown that she has it in her, but she's not doing it enough. And I understand she's been put through it. And so like I can understand being tired, but like your first season is like your chance to do it and like learn from your mistakes and you know meet the women where they are to maintain your spot on the show. And um it's just so off and on for me with Angel. She's definitely gotten better in this last sort of third of the season, but I want to see it more. I want to see it more. I don't know.
I'm hopeful. I'm
Yeah.
optimistic.
Okay. Okay. The last I feel like big thing, which I guess it didn't come out of nowhere, but we're talking a lot about Stacey and Tia, and that's at the outdoor dinner, and Stacey's like, I don't have an issue with Tia, I just don't feel like I know who she is, and she feels like Tia sort of turned on her in a big way around that whole thing when she was supposed to get dinner with them, and I see why Stacey feels that way, but also if I'm Tia, I feel like Stacey lied to me over where her husband was and why he couldn't come, and that raises a red flag to me. Like that, and it kind of ladders up for me and to like Stacey overall on the show, which is like as a viewer, it's fucking amazing, and it's so funny watching her be there, not breaking a sweat, clearly not telling the truth about everything to the women. But if I'm one of the women, I'm frustrated by that, and I feel like I'm not getting the full story, and so that to me is sort of where I land on the Tia and Stacey of it all.
I think Tia's doing a lot over a little.
Yeah.
I think that Tia's a good addition, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like she definitely did hop on the bandwagon to dislike Stacey for sure.
But you don't think if you're Tia in that moment where Stacey gave you the runaround and gave you three different stories about where her husband is and why he couldn't come, like do you not feel suspicious of her?
I'd be annoyed. Like, girl,
Uh-huh.
you could have just said the truth. Like, listen, he doesn't really want to be around anybody in the group. He knows how the group gets down. He's a bit cautious. We're still testing the waters if we want to get back together. I don't want to ruin this. If she had just said that, that would have been great. Like, do I think that she needed to lie? No, that was a stupid
Hmm.
lie. But I feel like that happened 6 weeks ago. Is it really that deep for Tia to still be mad about it? And I don't know. I think that Tia is kind of grasping at straws and then bringing up the whole Chris Samuels thing. It's like, why are we talking about that? If they did date or whatever, Monique doesn't care. She didn't know Monique at the time. They were both single people. So why are we, it's just like we're beating a dead
Yeah,
horse.
I agree. I just think it comes back to Stacey lying to them.
Yes,
Stacey's not
yes,
telling the truth, and so
yes.
that's what I think it always comes back to, and it is a lot of little things. Nothing's
Hmm.
huge, I guess except for TJ, but maybe we don't know. But like there's a lot of little things to me that if I'm in a friend group with somebody, that adds up for me, and I'm not gonna like trust that person. But again, I do enjoy watching it, so it's like you take what you take it where you can get it. Yeah. Is there anything else from this episode? I feel like that's pretty much like how I'm feeling. I mean, we're just going to continue with the shit show. We're going to Aspen. Do we know if Angel goes to the sleepover or not? Do we know?
No, we still don't know.
Okay.
So we're gonna
What do you
find out,
think?
I
What do you
guess.
think?
There's a part of me that feels like she's not, only because it seems like Giselle takes over the rest of the trip. Like in that
Right.
sneak peek, Giselle's like, I'm taking over.
So Angel will top out kind of completely,
I
maybe.
can see Angel just saying, you know what? Like, F everybody, F this. You guys have fun. I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the last thing I actually did want to ask you about, because this is like very minor thing, but it kind of was something that I picked up on. Angel's getting the tea from Jazzy, like they're texting about what's going on at the house.
Mhm.
And Jazzy's like, this house of sad women or whatever she said. But then we see footage of her in the house and she's like, oh, we're leaving. Thank God. Let me pack up really quick. Like
Yes,
she's kind of she's playing both sides of it, I
she
think.
is. She is. She is. She definitely
Uh-huh.
is.
Low
She's
key.
definitely a double agent.
definitely double agent because she's talking out of both sides. So I don't know if that's going to
Yes.
catch up to her or not. I don't know if they care enough about showing that, but like it feels like I don't know. She wants to be everything to everybody, maybe.
Yes.
All right. Lastly, let's touch down on Married to Medicine. More big picture, less like about this past week specifically. We can bring that in, but like, um, there's this whole thing about Dr. Simone digging stuff up on people, um, which is kind of what I guess Lisa Barlow is being accused of in Salt Lake City in a way. Uh, do you believe that Simone's doing that? Do you care? Because in my mind, it's what Heavenly's been doing for years.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I feel like I feel like after a certain amount of seasons, they all resort to that to keep the show going.
Hmm.
So like if Dr. Simone is doing that, I wouldn't be surprised. If they told me that Quad or Dr. Jackie or Toya were doing that, I wouldn't be surprised about any of them because I feel like they all just want to keep that check.
Yeah. And it's like, how many seasons has the drama of the show skated by on what Heavenly has said on her YouTube channel,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is like random claims about them, which also gets into the whole thing about her son and like bringing up her son. And it's like, again, on the surface, like first impression, you're like, oh yeah, like it is insensitive to bring that up all the time. But also, it's like, how many fucking times has Heavenly brought up things about other people? And so,
All
like, this is kind of her comeuppance and a taste of her own medicine. It's coming at a bad time for her political aspirations, but like I think people are very valid to bring up anything in Heavenly's world after
agreed,
how many years. And I enjoy watching, but it's like Heavenly has had it coming in this capacity.
agreed, agreed. She plays dirty. Heavenly plays very dirty. So I don't feel any way about her getting a taste of her own medicine.
She can dish it, but she can't really take it,
Yeah,
can
no,
she?
she can't take it at all. She cannot take it at all.
Yeah, and it's funny because she came into the season being like, "I'm running for office. I'm gonna be cool, calm, collected, classy." And it's like that's just who she is, which is it's who she is, right? It's like whatever, but she can't even now when it like kind of matters most, she can't like, snuff her own fuse. It's just
No.
gonna blow.
Yes. Yes, that's just heavenly, I guess.
Do you My impression of Toya this season is that she kind of is clocked in. Like I feel like from the beginning she has been I mean the whole thing about at her party was like way too much, but I at least I guess appreciate it feels like she's leaning into the show a little bit this season. It's not always working necessarily, but I appreciate her being like present, like in
Hmm.
that way. Because I feel like for
Yes.
a little bit she wasn't.
I think okay, so I'll be honest, I'm not such an avid watcher of Married to Medicine. Like I know what's going on. I know all the players. I have it on as background when Potomac goes off.
Uh-huh.
I see what's going on. I feel like Toya kind of gives the same energy every season though.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree. I agree it's the same energy, but she's bringing up things this season in a way that like I'm like, you know what? We need that. Like because again, it felt for a while that Dr. Heavenly was like the only source of stuff
Yeah.
essentially, you
No,
know?
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
How do you feel about the clip that really went viral, I feel like, of Simone kind of losing her shit on her sons and on Cecil? Because it obviously it's a loaded thing. I think it brings up season 5 reunion when they were going to get divorced and they got back together. Some people have said like she should have just like gone through with it back then. How do
Agreed.
you feel? You agree?
I think that she should have divorced. They don't look happy at all.
Hmm.
I'm of the mindset that it generally does not work when the woman is the breadwinner. And I think that that's the root of why they're having these issues. That was a woman in distress.
Hmm.
That was a woman who was under duress of, I have been supporting three grown men and they are not picking up the slack. I think she's tired of being the bank and her husband's just sitting there not doing anything. He's very passive and that's a whole different conversation, but I just feel like this is the result of, I feel, when the wife is the breadwinner.
Mm.
Because the way her sons, the way Cecil were just, they were all looking at her. And like nobody cares when she was like, do you guys care that like, what if I drop dead or like nobody cares. I'm just working myself to the bone. And they just didn't care. And I was like, this
Hmm.
is so sad. And I just, it was upsetting to watch. And like her sons are spinning it as, well, we have money. And I'm like, yes, you have money, and that's great. And I'm not saying that your parents can't still help you as an adult, but it's the fact that you have no regard. Like, you're not even trying to like do something. You're just fully dependent on her, and there's no gratitude. And it's like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
it's such a good conversation to have, but like, they're ungrateful, and I think that's the why she's angry. And I think that she has fatigue of being the breadwinner, and she's
Hmm.
tired, and she wants her husband to up to the plate.
I totally agree with everything you said, Brooke. And I guess I think about like why is she bringing it to camera? Because I think this is the kind of thing that I think a lot of people would hide. And I think that maybe this is her last resort.
Yes.
How do you really get people to act? By like publicly shaming them, essentially. And I
Yeah.
agree, there's no shame in having support from your parents as an adult.
No.
If you have the means to do so, absolutely. Like if that's how your family wants to operate, no judgment.
Yes.
What I do judge is if you get that money and also do nothing, and
Yes.
you have no drive or ambition to do your own thing or contribute your own.
Yes.
Like it just feels like they want to like completely live off of Dr. Simone's money,
Yes.
which is both her doctor money and her show money, by the way.
Hmm.
And so it's like, again, I have plenty of friends who still get help from their parents. Like that's a
Yeah.
very common thing, especially living in New York City. But like they all work and they all it's supplemental, but I think they just want to skate off, and they have a famous mom who makes a lot of money, and it's like I think Dr. Simone, you're right. She's at her sort of breaking point, and I think this is just her last resort of bringing it to a camera, and she
Yeah.
knows it's going to be a thing, and it is sad to watch. It is, and I think even this past week she said something to Cecil. She was like, I have so much on my plate and nobody ever offers to take anything off of it ever. And it's like, again, we're not talking about like 14-year-olds here anymore. Like we've seen these boys grow up. They're like in their 20s in college. Like they should know this stuff by now, And it is disappointing. It's really disappointing.
It was a cry for help. It was a cry
Hmm.
for help on her end. And it's just such a loaded subject.
Hmm.
And like I
Yeah.
really felt bad for her. I
Yeah.
really did.
And I think it's not an uncommon thing for us to see on Bravo, which is a network centered on a lot of female talent, and a lot of these are big female stars who start to make a lot of money when they weren't before, and they're
Mhm.
making big checks from the shows. And I think the difference between the Dr. Simone situation potentially and like a housewife, for example, like I think eventually, even if a housewife comes in with a career, like I think now a majority of the time they sort of like slowly drop that career, and like being a reality star and a Real Housewife sort of becomes their career. So you
Mhm.
can't talk about it as much because it breaks the fourth wall a lot, because it's like, oh, I'm making $700,000 on by being a housewife.
Yeah.
Whereas like Simone is like still like a very much a practicing doctor,
Yeah.
and she's making a lot of money on the show.
Yeah.
So it feels like they can talk about it in a different way with in her case versus like I don't know, who's it's happened somewhere else on the Housewives recently where the woman starts to make a lot of money, but um that it got me thinking about that too, where it's like she has two big income careers too.
Hmm. Yeah. She's doing well as an OBGYN,
Yeah.
making bank. And then I'm sure she has speaking appearances, speaking engagements, workshops that she does. She's
Hmm.
making money from that. And yes, she's doing very well. And again, I just felt like they're not
There's no
grateful.
regard.
There's no regard. And it's just like, okay, like it just kind of goes into that trope of like a strong black woman, she can
Hmm.
handle it. And it's like, no, absolutely not.
Hmm.
Like,
Totally
it's,
taken advantage of.
yeah, taking advantage. It's like, absolutely not. And I'm like,
Hmm.
Simone, Dr. Simone, please save yourself and divorce. Like, this is like, it's just a mess. Like, I can, like, again, there's no shame in your parents helping. But like you should I don't see any ambition or work ethic with those boys. They're
Mm-mm,
just lazy. They seem very lazy. And it's not an attractive quality. Like
at
who wants a
all.
lazy man? Like you think you're gonna get this is sad.
Mm,
It's very sad to watch.
hmm Yeah, and then I think about, okay, it is a good time to divorce after your kids leave the home and they're, adults. Like that happened. That's a common story too. But I also am thinking like, okay, now she's gonna have to like if she goes forward with like a divorce with Cecil, like, ultimately, how expensive is that gonna be for her too? Like they got together so young, they probably don't have a prenup. It's like,
I
oh
know. I thought about that now. I'm like, oh, then she'll have to pay him money, and I don't believe in women paying a man's way. I don't believe in
no,
women paying a man for men. Man, I don't. I'm just absolutely
I'm with
not.
you.
Like,
I'm with you.
so my
What
heart
a
would
yeah,
be
it's a
for
complex
her.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
it is.
complex situation. Well, Brooke, we covered a lot of ground today. I really appreciate. We went a little bit over, but again, there's a lot going on, and I've said this, like I need the best of the best on my show these next couple of weeks because it's just a lot. It's a lot to break down. Um, what are you currently recapping and talking about on your YouTube channel? Do all the plugs before we sign off here so people know what to expect from you.
Sure. So we are covering we're covering Potomac, SLC, Traders. I want to get into the Valley Persian style, which is really good, by the
It's
way.
really good. The first two episodes are fantastic.
Phenomenal. Beverly Hills is like touch and go. I probably will review though this late episode coming on tonight. That looks like that sneak peek of Sutton snapping at Jennifer. I do want to talk about that. But yeah, I'm covering everything. We have a good time on my channel. We joke, we laugh, we just have a grand old time. So come on over. I'm here on YouTube at the Brooke Ashley, and yeah, come see what the fun's about.
And if you're listening, I told Brooke this before we signed on, but I stumbled into one of her YouTube lives. It was an amazing time. I have to say, there was hundreds of people in there. It was amazing, and I was laughing. And you just do such a really great job of not only commentary, but also like you've really cultivated an amazing community of people who love to watch you, listen to you, and I have so much admiration for it, Brooke.
Thank you so much, Gibson. That's so sweet. Thank
Of
you.
course. Well, everybody check out Brooke's YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. Bye. Thank you for having me.
I want to gab.